Do you ever sit in your garage gym and look around and go, man, if I could just do this all over again from scratch, I would do so many things differently. Well, I do that all the time. And that's what we're going to talk about today on the podcast. Welcome back to the GymCrafter podcast, everybody. My name is Tim. I am the head gym nerd here at GymCrafter.com. And today I'm going to prove to you what a gigantic gym nerd I actually am, because what I just said in the intro, I do all the time. And part of it is because one of the cool things about doing this for a living, and I've been doing GymCrafter for about 8 years now, and I've been training at home for a little over 40, is the cool thing about doing GymCrafter is every once in a while, I get the very cool opportunity to sell everything in the gym, start from scratch, from the ground up. And that is always a fun project. If you've been following the podcast, the GymCrafter podcast actually started right when I did that again with this gym. So if you haven't listened to the old episodes, go back and listen from episode 1. It's a lot about me building this gym from the ground up. I sold everything that was in here, so started over from scratch. And this is probably, for my own gym, probably the third or fourth major build. Now, I've always had, like I said, I've always had a gym, but it's been, a bench and barbells in a corner, and to have it be a gym that people come in and go, oh wow, you actually have a legit gym in your house. That's probably 3 or 4 times now. And I'm gonna be doing it again. Not anytime soon, because I'm still working on this one, but it doesn't stop me from thinking about what I would have done differently building this gym. So that's what we're gonna talk about today on the podcast. I wanna go over a few things that I would have done differently in this one, and that I probably will do differently in the next build. And I think that that's not only a fun topic to talk about, because I want you guys to join in down in the comments. Let me know the things that you would do differently in your gym, the things that you regret, the things that you would do again. What things are you like, yeah, I'm gonna do that every single time. As you guys know, there is never going to be a gym that I build that doesn't have some type of a rack, barbell, and weights in it, because that is my primary form of training that I love and I hope to never stop doing. But today, I want to talk about some things that I did in this gym. And you would think that, not only have I built this gym, I have helped, just a number of people who have contacted GymCrafter, thousands of people, a number of people who I've had kind of in-depth interactions with, hundreds and hundreds of people, helping them build their gyms from the ground up. You would think at some point that I would build a gym and get it all right and do it all right the first time, and that this gym build would have been perfect and without flaw, and that's just not the case. So we're going to talk about some things that I wish I would have done differently, and also some things that I definitely will do differently down the road. And we are going to start with the floor under my feet. So as you guys know, or maybe you don't know, I am not a fan of stall mats for a variety of different reasons. For a while, stall mats have gotten better over time, but for a while, stall mats were the single lowest quality rubber, and a lot of them still are. Just the lowest quality rubber you can get. They off-gas a lot of VOCs, or volatile organic compounds. They're not good for your health. But for me, if I'm gonna build a nice gym, and boy, this is gonna offend some of you, I'm sorry, it's a personal choice. I know some people like it, so this is a personal choice. This is a me thing, not a you thing, but I don't want a duct taped floor. I just don't want stuff that you have to duct tape together to keep it from moving around. And stall mats, you have to take black Gorilla Tape and you have to tape the seams. And look, I get it. That's the floor that was the least expensive. That's the floor that's the most available. That's the floor that's the easiest to get to. And the drawback is you got to duct tape it together. And some people actually like that, and that's awesome. For me, I don't like that. So I've always recommended getting commercial grade, which basically means commercial. When you see commercial grade, that means that it doesn't off-gas. It's designed to go inside. It's designed to go inside businesses, and it's designed to not get that business sued for causing health problems for the people that work there or train there. And I've always also advocated going with 8mm, or I think it's 5/8 or 3/8 inch thick flooring. I forget the measurement, because you're not deadlifting everywhere, right? For the most part, under machines, under your rack, that's all you really need. And every gym build out that I've done personally, I've used puzzle piece flooring, which are basically 2 foot by 2 foot squares, which have interlocking tiles around them. That's the part that I'm not going to do next time. I'm still all in for the commercial rubber. I'm probably going to go thicker next time, not because of the need for protection, but because I just want to go a little bit thicker across the whole floor, because putting thicker in some areas where you do deadlifting and not thicker in other areas. So I'll probably go 1/2 inch next time, not a whole lot thicker, but that's not the big deal. That's neither here nor there. The thing that I would change is, instead of doing puzzle piece flooring, I would do actually what's called rolled rubber flooring, which are big rolls of wide pieces of flooring that you roll across the floor. And here's why. When I was building gyms in here, where I still parked my car in here and I was just doing half the garage or 1/4 of the garage or 1/3 of the garage, then puzzle pieces worked great because it's a small enough area to get everything in the right place. What I've found is that when you do your entire garage with puzzle pieces, while some of this looks really, really awesome, in fact, most of this looks really, really awesome, there are a few places in here where things have moved around, or where I moved things around, or I tested this Bells of Steel rolling weight cart for a while and I had 800 pounds of weight on it or something, and I'm rolling across my floor. And what happened was those casters, they moved the flooring. So my flooring, in some places, there's some separation where the puzzle pieces come together because of those things, where, again, if it was just a smaller portion of my garage, that wouldn't have been an issue. But because it's the entire garage, it is an issue. And so if I had it to do over again, and when I do this again, because you can actually sell your flooring on Facebook Marketplace, get a good amount for it. I'll sell this stuff, and then I'll go back to Freedom Fitness, my guy Ashton, who sells all the different kinds of flooring, and I will get rolled flooring next time. And then what I will also do is I will affix it to the floor so that it doesn't move. There's a couple different ways you can do that. I don't know which way I would go right now, but that is definitely one thing that I would change, and one thing I'm going to do differently. So if you're looking at doing your garage and wondering what kind of flooring, I still don't recommend stall mats for most people, and I've made a couple of videos, so check those out. But for the most part, if you're doing a small section, the puzzle piece flooring works great. If I was doing just half my garage, I would stick to the puzzle piece flooring. But if I'm doing a whole basement, a whole garage, I think rolled flooring is the way to go. And this will dovetail with the second thing I would do differently. I would actually pay somebody to put it in. As much as I enjoy the DIY stuff, I put in enough gym floors in my gym and in friends' gyms and in families' gyms and in other people's gyms that I'm done putting in gym flooring. I don't want to do it anymore. So the neat thing about the rolled flooring is when it's put in correctly by professionals, there's no seams at all. It looks beautiful and perfect and pristine, and I think that it's worth the extra money to go ahead and do it that way. So if you're thinking about what to do for your flooring, give Ashton a call down there. I've got a coupon code down below. I believe it's GC1 if I'm not mistaken. That'll get you a percentage off of their flooring as well, and that's on top of any sale prices, I believe. But definitely give Ashton a call. He'll hook you up with the right type of flooring. But that is one thing I would do differently. Here's another thing I would do differently. I did not realize just how many daggone outlets you need in a gym. At least I need in a gym. So the way that I did this is my garage is on a single fuse, and I have a set of outlets up here on the back wall. So I have one double outlet there, and I have one double outlet in the ceiling where the garage door plugs into one, and then I have a ceiling light fixture, which I've plugged in. There's adapters you can get that screw in that give me 3 outlets. So I've got 4 free outlets on the ceiling, and I've got 2 outlets over there. And what I have done is I have run extension cords all over this gym. My ceiling is it's got extension cords running across to another side of the gym. I've got extension cords running around the baseboard. I've got extension cords running up inside the wall here. And I need to plug in heaters and fans and air purifiers. And I've got a security camera in here, and my stereo, and all the lights I've got in here, and a treadmill that I'm testing. And there's just so much stuff that I found that I need to plug in. And then when I do these videos, I've got my camera plugged in, I've got lights plugged in. It's just, for me, I didn't do it because of the expense, but I would absolutely next time go to the expense of having an electrician come in and put in, if you don't already have them, put in outlets on all of the walls. And just so that you've got them, so that you have them there and that they're accessible. And then I would also have them install a higher voltage or higher amperage fuse so that you can, especially if you're going to do cardio machines, because for example, if you've got a treadmill, I had a treadmill in here for a while that I could either have lights on in the gym or I could do the treadmill I couldn't do one or the other, so I would end up running in the dark a lot, which was dumb. So I would definitely do that. The other thing that I would do electric-wise is I would have a dedicated outlet run to the side, and I would have them install a side-mounted garage door opener. So right now I've got a standard overhead garage door opener. The only reason I have one like that is because I don't have an outlet and you need a dedicated outlet for these. I don't have a dedicated outlet in the front of my garage. And what a side-mounted garage door opener is it mounts on the side of your garage door and it just turns the pole that's inside the spring. I'm sure there's a garage door person out there who can say what those are actually called. But if you look at your garage door, there's a pole that goes across the top, there's a spring around it, and the side-mounted garage door opener just spins that pole and it clears up your whole ceiling. So if you're looking to do things like hang heavy bags, hang rings for your kids, hang more lights, stuff, and just have there not be a garage door opener over your head, right? I can't jump rope in here because of that. So there's a lot of reasons why you might want to get that out of the way. And if I had just bit the bullet, and I really wish I had, and had an electrician come in and just do that before I painted, before I put the floor in, before I put all this stuff in here. I may still do it. It's just one of those things now that everything's in place that now you got to move everything. Now I got to patch and paint. And I don't hate the extension cords enough to patch and paint. But again, back to hiring a professional, maybe I just hire the electrician and I hire the guy to patch and paint and we'll just call it a day. But if you're in the planning stages, or like I said, if when the time comes when I get all this stuff out of here and I start over again, I will be hiring an electrician at some point in the future to run electric in here because it's just, the extension cords are just a pain, guys. And the third thing I kind of just said, which is the way that I did this gym, is that I took a lot of stuff out of the garage, but I basically moved everything in the garage to one side. I did one side, I then moved everything over to the other side. I did the other side, and that moving process is one of the things that screwed up a couple of my puzzle pieces in the floor that are kind of in the middle here, that I would literally have to take everything out and take the flooring out and reinstall it to fix. So I would just take everything out. I would look at the weather forecast. I would just kind of bite the bullet, call some friends and go, hey, I'm going to need help for the next couple of days moving big old heavy gym equipment and weights in and out of this gym. And I would just put everything outside the garage. I would paint, I would do the floor, I would have the electrician come in, I'd have all that done in a day or two, and actually probably a day, depending on the neighborhood you live in, right? And I would just do it that way. Even if I had to rent a U-Haul truck to put it in, or rent one of those pods to lock it up in, I would get everything out of the garage and just start with a clean, fresh space. And that's something that I'll definitely do next time, is just empty it all out. And that's, like I said, that's going to be the way to make sure the floor goes in right, to make sure that the electric goes in right, to make sure you don't have to move stuff or tarp stuff to paint it. But that is definitely something I would do differently next time that I didn't do this time. And again, if you are planning your garage gym, find a way to just get everything out and don't try and work around stuff. Now we're going to start getting into some equipment things. And one of the things that I had in my old gym, and I do have now, but I haven't shown it to you guys yet. I've got a really cool solution, is a place to walk. So while I don't think that a cardio machine is the best use of home gym space, just personally, at least for my gym, right? So if I wanted cardio, I think I mentioned this in another podcast. I mentioned this in the last podcast. You're better off if you're a cardio person, like at least in my neighborhood, I'm less than 5 minutes from 2 different strip malls that have like 24-hour gyms in them, that have ellipticals and treadmills and bikes and things like that. And for 20 bucks a month, I can just, if I need cardio, I can join one of those gyms and I can go to that gym for months and months and months and months and months before I ever pay for a treadmill or an elliptical or a spin bike or anything, like a rower or anything like that. So I personally didn't leave any room in my gym for cardio, and I'm standing by that decision. I won't make room for cardio, a big giant piece of cardio gear in my next gym. But what I do think is important is to have a place to walk. So here's where the difference is. So if you were to say, hey, I can only do one form of exercise for the rest of my life, right? For whatever goofball reason, thought experiment reason that is, the answer is walking. The right answer to that question is walking. Walking every day, if you could only do one thing, is the single most important thing you can do for your health. It's going to be the single most important thing you can do for your metabolism, for your weight, for your hormones, for your digestion, for your muscle tone, for your balance, for your proprioception, for all different types of aspects of your health. Walking your 8 to 10 to 12,000 steps a day is going to be the single most important thing you do for your health. Oddly enough, it's the one that most people skip. But for me, that is a non-negotiable. And here in Illinois, at this time of year, it's May, I can go outside and I can walk most days. The problem is that if it's raining or if it's snowing or I woke up this winter one day and it was 19 below actual temperature. I thought my thermometer was 19 below, not wind chill. Wind chill was ridiculous on top of that. 19, I'm not walking. I don't know about you, I am not going out and walking that day. But because I didn't have a treadmill in my gym or I didn't have a place to walk, I spent a good portion of this winter not getting in my steps. And I can tell you that this spring has been really an exercise in getting my conditioning back. You know, unfortunately, lifting weights doesn't necessarily do a ton for your cardiovascular conditioning, even though like people say, oh, if you just do circuits or if you just do HIIT training with weights, you can definitely do that. But there's nothing, like I said, there's nothing like just getting walks in, especially walking at a nice brisk pace where you're almost out of breath. That's super important. So what I would do is I would find a place, a way to get away to walk. And for me, what I've been playing with and what you'll start seeing some reviews of here on the channel, because I'm really working on this problem, are either what are called walking pads. So they're just small treadmills. They don't have the big bulk in them. They're not designed for running on in a lot of cases, although you can. I've got some that you can jog on. But really they're just for getting your steps in. And then the cool thing is they're tiny. They get up out of the way. My favorite one so far, which is right there, is one by a company called The Walking Pad, and it's a treadmill that actually folds up. It folds up, and I'm not kidding, like less than a foot deep by maybe 24 inches tall by 24 inches wide. It's tiny, and it folds out, and it's got a perfectly big enough walking platform for me to walk on. So I'm really working on some solutions to walk on, but that's something I would do differently going forward. Is I went from my previous gym build out, which had a treadmill. I sold the treadmill and I didn't replace it with anything. And I absolutely paid the price this winter by not being able to walk. And I think it's really important for all of us to really work at getting those steps in. Now, a word on those steps. Is there something magic about 8,000 steps? Yeah, there actually is. So, so there's been a lot of studies coming out recently that show they're doing what are called meta-analysis, where they take all of the walking studies and they conglomerate them into one study. So that's typically a really good way to look at scientific data. I really hate people who justify everybody. Well, studies say lots of things. They're not always right. But legitimate studies that are well conducted all show a direct correlation between a reduction in all-cause mortality, and all-cause mortality is dying for any reason, right? And then how many steps a person takes on a daily basis. And when you go from 0 to 4,000 steps, there is a drastic reduction in all-cause mortality. When you go from 4,000 to 8,000, there is a drastic reduction in all-cause mortality. When you go from 8 to 10, there's a little bit of a reduction. When you go from 10 to 12, there's a little less of it, but there's still a reduction. Once you get over 12, there's not really a whole lot of reduction in all-cause mortality. There's other benefits, but what that tells me is that if you're moving every day, that is extremely beneficial to your health and to all aspects of your health. So if you can get a way to get 4,000, 6,000, 8,000. What I always tell clients is I don't care right now if you're getting 1,200 steps a day, to ask that person, if that's you, for you to go out and get 10,000 steps. I think people throw that number around a lot, and I don't think they realize how much time that takes. That's a couple hour commitment a day to get there. Go, oh, well, you just walk a little bit after each meal. And I'm guilty of that, right? Like current client, tell them like, hey, just go walk 10 minutes after each meal and you get these in, no problem. But the problem is that that's still over the day. That's a lot. That's a lot to ask. So just being active is really the key thing, and it's doing more than what you've done before. So just try and level that up over time. And one of the easiest, best ways to do that is to have something in your gym that allows you to walk. Now, the cool thing about these walking pads, you can put them under a standing desk. You can put them in your living room. I've got one of them in my living room right now in front of my TV. So if I want to watch, a half hour of TV, I'll just do it while I'm walking on the walking pad. So whatever it happens to be, I think next time I build out a gym, I am 100% going to make sure that I have some way to walk. I won't put cardio in. I've learned that lesson. I think for me, like I said, I'd rather just join a gym that has cardio if I need that. But for me, walking is critical, and I don't ever want to come out of a winter again as deconditioned as I did this winter. And the older you get, I'm 54, the more quickly that affects you. So the older you are, the more important this particular aspect of a gym build out is going to be. The next one really has taken a hard look in the mirror for me. So again, I say this a lot, but if you guys follow the podcast or you follow the channel, you know that I have a problem with barbells. Barbells are my favorite thing to buy. They're my favorite thing to collect. They're my favorite thing to have. And they are a giant waste of money in most cases. So they make me happy. They're not a giant waste of money. But I have way too many barbells, and I have way more barbells than I need. And quite honestly, outside of the ones that I'm testing, if I wasn't testing any barbells, there's exactly one barbell up there that I would use, and that's what I would use for everything, and that's all I really need. So at the time where I scrap this gym and I sell everything and I start again from scratch, which again, like I said, I will do at some point, what I will do is I will buy one straight barbell, and that's what I'll have. Now I can see making a case for two if you do different types of lifting, like if you need more of a medium aggressive knurl and then like a really aggressive knurl barbell. Like for me, I could see making a case for a standard power bar and then the American Barbell Chewy Bar, which is a very aggressive bar. But in the end, as much as I like my Chewy Bar, as much as I've raved about my Chewy Bar, as much as I love using my Chewy Bar, I don't really use my Chewy Bar anymore. So what I use is the American Barbell Stainless Steel Elite Power Bar. They don't make it anymore. They just make one that's hard chrome. It's just called the American Barbell Power Bar. It's a little bit over 400 bucks. It is an awesome bar. If I built my gym again, I would buy that barbell, and that's the only straight barbell that I would buy because I use that bar for everything. I use it for deadlifts, I use it for squats, I use it for bench, I use it for literally everything I use a straight bar for. Unless I'm doing testing, I use that bar. And even though I am doing testing, I like that bar so much, sometimes I just don't use the bars I'm testing and I use the one that I like. So that's what I would do. I would buy just one straight barbell. Now, what should you buy if you're in that planning stage? What do you buy? So I've got 3 barbell recommendations that are great. And this is for folks who are building a gym to just do normal general fitness and preparedness, to do normal powerlifting, to do the big 5 lifts. Big 5 lifts being squat, deadlift, bench press, overhead press, and row. So having a power bar that is not overly aggressive is going to be the right solution for most of you for that type of lifting, and it's going to serve you well. You don't need an Olympic bar, you don't need an all-purpose bar, you just need a good solid choice in a power bar. So for me, the top of that range is the American Barbell Power Bar. I'll put links to these 3 bars down below in case you need to pick one up, but that's the one that I would buy. If that wasn't available, or and I've thought about this too, I've thought about when I do go in to build the gym again, well, maybe I go, okay, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it on a specific budget, right? Just because I know a lot of you guys are on a budget, and the gym that I've built is way stupid expensive. So I know that not everybody can do that. So maybe I'll do it on a budget. If I was on a budget, I would buy one of these 2 bars. I would either buy the Rep Fitness Stainless Steel Black Diamond Bar, which is just an awesome bar. It really, really is a great bar. Or I would buy the Rep Fitness nickel-plated Badlands bar. I'm testing that bar now. I love that bar. That bar is awesome. It feels very close to that Chewy bar, but not quite as aggressive. If you like a little bit more of an aggressive knurl, it's a great choice. It's got these smooth sections at the end of the bar that allow it to slide on my J-hooks. So it works just like having roller J-hooks, but without the rollers, which I think the rollers move a little too freely. But anyway, without getting in the weeds on that, I will have a final review of that coming out at some point. But check out my initial review of that. I did post that. I absolutely love that bar. It's a $250 barbell. So there you've got one. At $250, you've got one. I think the stainless steel Black Diamond is in the 300s, and then the American Barbell is in the 400s. Long story short, which I don't usually do here, but I would buy one straight bar, and then I would buy more specialty bars than I have. I have really grown to love using specialty bars. Now, where would I start? I would automatically buy an open trap bar. Right now I've got two in here. I've got the Rep Fitness open trap bar, and I've got the Bells of Steel open trap bar. The Bells of Steel open trap bar is very similar to the Fringe Sport open trap bar. There's a couple of minor differences, but for all intents and purposes, they're kind of the same bar. And then one that I'm looking to try, possibly depending on the measurements, is the Giant Lifting open trap bar with shorter sleeves. So real quick rundown on those. For me, the Rep Fitness open trap bar is too big. I love it. It is the best. If you've got the room, it is the best open trap bar you can buy, bar none. And one thing that it does that those other ones don't do is it's rackable. Now, for me, I never rack my open trap bar. So when I've reviewed open trap bars, I just don't talk about them being rackable, because for me, I don't need to do cambered squats and carries and lunges and stuff. Like, I do that with other implements. I don't need my open trap bar to do that. You may differ, your mileage may vary, but that's one big difference. But for me, the width of this thing, it's too big. It's so big. And if I had a little bit more open floor space in here, it would be awesome. But right now I just don't use it at all, because I just don't like lugging this thing out. It's just giant. The problem with the smaller ones and the problem with the Bells of Steel and the Fringe Sport is that they only allow you to spread your feet out a little bit. And I really think one of the things that I like to do a lot is I like to do kind of a hybrid stance, or almost even a sumo stance. The Rep Fitness bar allows me to get my feet spread really far out. And so just kind of give you a brief overview of those bars. That's where I am right now, because I know some of you have asked where those reviews are coming, and that's kind of where I'm at with those right now. I haven't found the perfect open trap bar, but I would for sure, that's the first specialty bar I would look for, is I would look for an open trap bar that has a small footprint, but that still allows me to kind of spread my feet out a little bit. And so that's kind of what I'm looking for in an open trap bar. If you guys got solutions or suggestions outside of the Giant Lifting one with the shorter sleeves, let me know. I'm happy to take a look at it. And then the next one I would buy is a neutral grip bar, some type of either a cambered, curved Swiss bar, or like the Rep Fitness one. I actually like the Rep Fitness one better than the Bells of Steel one I'm trying right now. And even though the Rep Fitness is kind of a weird camber where it goes in straight and then juts up and then is straight again, if you measure the distances of the amount of depth you can get, it's actually the same as the curved bars. So either way works, but I would look at one of those. A safety squat bar is something that I don't enjoy using, but it's something I know a lot of people do. I want to get the Bare Steel Equipment curl bar, easy rackable, easy curl bar. I've gone back and forth on curl bars. That's been a saga for me. But long story short, again, not really. I would look for one solid straight bar, and then I would really kind of start to go deep on the specialty bars. But I would stick to specialty bars that you can use for more than just one thing. Right? So you can use the Swiss bar for more than just one thing. You can use the open trap bar for a lot more than just one thing. So for me, that adds a lot more to my training, because I find myself using those specialty bars a lot more than just using the bars that are sitting up there and not getting used, if that makes sense. So that barbell assortment is one thing that I would definitely change, and will definitely change when I do it again. As much as it hurts, as much as I love these barbells, as much as I spend a stupid amount of time looking at and almost buying more barbells. It's embarrassing, guys, but I really have to rein that in for the next gym build out, and really restrain myself. And if you guys are looking at building a gym, I would recommend really go deep on that one barbell that's solid and all around, and then worry about spending your money on other stuff before you worry about spending your money on specialty bars for like just different types of knurl and different types of sleeve spin, to get the specialty bars that are actually shaped differently. VHS bar by Black Widow Training Gear, another really cool one that's on my list. And at some point it will be up here. So I'll end up selling some of these bars, and I will get one of those in here, and you'll see a review. But that's one of the specialty bars on my list, and a great example of why I need to have less straight bars. The next thing that I would do differently is I would be more open-minded. One of the things people have called me out on, and rightly so, is I can be a little closed-minded. I'm an old crotchety man sometimes, and I get stuck in my ways, and I look at things and I'm like, this is the way, this is the only way, every other way is dumb. That thing looks dumb. And there's two things in my gym right now which have absolutely proved that that opinion and that attitude does not serve me at all. Those two things are the Freak Athlete Hyper Pro and the Tib Bar Guy Sled Tread. So you've seen my content on the Freak Athlete Hyper Pro. If you haven't, check it out. But the thing that both of those things have in common is when I first saw those things, I'm like, those are gimmicks. Those are cheap gimmicks. Why would I buy one of those? They're gonna break. They're cheap imported items. Why would I buy that, right? Like, why would I buy that? And I've been fortunate enough for both of those companies to send me those products, and I use both of those products every day. Every single day, I use both of those products, and I love them. The reason you haven't seen any content on the sled tread is because I'm pretty sure there's a new version coming out, and I don't want to be that guy who posts a review telling you how much he likes something only to have you buy it and then have a new one come out in 3 months. So I'm going to bide my time on that and see if and when a new one comes out, and then I'll review the new one for you. But I love that thing. And I love the Freak Athlete Hyper Pro. I really enjoy those two pieces. I'll put links to both of them down below if you want to check them out. But the point of me bringing those up wasn't to review those pieces for you here on this podcast. It was to point out that sometimes, and I see people in the comments do this all the time, bro, that's so stupid, that's dumb, who would use that? Like, that was me. Those exact phrases were me. Like, I looked at that Freak Athlete thing and I'm like, look at all those stupid colored knobs. Like, why would I want that? Like, who wants to do a Nordic curl? That's dumb, right? Like, why would I do that? I have a hamstring curl machine. Like, why would I, like, I was wrong. And that's something I'm really I need to eliminate in myself in this gym. And I for sure need to kind of not carry that attitude with me into the next gym build out. And also when I help people build out gyms, because it doesn't do any of us any good to be completely closed-minded to stuff when we haven't even tried it. And that's the crappy thing about the home gym industry right now is there's just no good stores where you can go try all this stuff out, right? Like, there's just, like, wouldn't it be awesome if you go someplace and they had like Rogue and Rep and ATX and Bells of Steel and Freak Out, and you could go try all. Oh, there is. It's called Home Gym Con. If you're not going to Home Gym Con in June, you are missing out. It's one of my favorite things about Home Gym Con. It's one of the things I'm looking forward to most about Home Gym Con in June is that it's the one time a year where I get to actually go try all of this stuff. And as much of a friend, as much as I love you, John Greaves III, last year I went as his cameraman and I spent the entire time working, which was an amazing experience. I would not have gone if it wasn't for him. I owe it. I owe you, John, for bringing me to that. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to have such an awesome time this time as a consumer, as a home gym nerd. But I cannot wait to actually have time through the whole convention to go try all of this stuff. Because I guarantee you there's just stuff that I'm like, that's dumb, but when I go try it, I guarantee it's not gonna be dumb. So if you are in the process of building a home gym at this particular point in time, and you're looking at spending even a few $1,000s, you absolutely owe it to yourself to go to Home Gym Con, because I don't care how many YouTube videos you watch, I don't care how many articles you read, I don't care how much marketing material you read, there is no substitute for going to some place and just trying stuff because it's all there. And that's the crappy thing about this industry, right? Like, we shouldn't have to all go to Louisville, Kentucky one time a year to be able to go try this stuff. But that's the world we live in. That's the way that it is. And that's what I'm going to change going into the next gym build out is I'm going to try and stay a lot more open-minded. And I would hope that, if any of you guys out there find yourself in the comments going, gee, that's really dumb. If you haven't used it, you don't get to call it dumb. So get yourself to a store if you can, or just reserve your opinion until you have actually used it, because I think you'll be surprised. And man, the sled tread and the Hyper Pro are two things that have absolutely surprised the heck out of me recently in my gym. And the last thing that I would do differently is I would stop looking for alternatives to things that I already know are the best. And I'm going to throw a couple of companies under the bus here, but for me, there's no reason to buy anything but a Rep Fitness bench. If you're going to buy the Rogue Man Array, I hear good things. I'm not a huge Rogue fan, as you guys know, but that might be a good bench to buy. But outside of that, if you're looking to buy just a good all-around home gym bench, you buy a Rep Fitness bench. You buy the Nighthawk, which I'm sitting on right now. You buy the AB5200. If you're looking for a flat bench, you buy the FB5000. And stop looking for alternatives to what everybody already knows is the best one. Right? Like, I spend so much time going, well, what about this? Well, what about that? Like, the Falcon is a great example from Fringe Sport. I love Fringe Sport. This is a Fringe Sport rack. I've spent an obscene amount of money with Fringeport in the last 6 months, buying this rack, buying new Savage bumper plates, buying the silverback dumbbells, which should be here this week. It's just crazy. So I love the company, but that bench is meh. It looks cool, right? It has the features of the AB5200, and I know people are like, well, I don't want to buy the AB5200. I'll buy the one from Fringeport. Like, why? Like, why? It's not as good. You're not going to like it as much. It's not as well built. It's a good bench. Don't get me wrong. Pete, sorry, you made a good bench, but it's not as good as the other ones. It's just not. So there's a lot of equipment like that where it's like people, and I get emails like this all the time, like, well, I know everybody says this one's the best, but what about this one? And what about this one? And what about this one? Stop what-abouting all of the other ones, which are clearly inferior. But I'll do Fringeport a solid. Fringeport makes the best bumper plates. If you're gonna buy bumper plates, you should buy Fringeport bumper plates. That's the answer. Right? I don't care that the other ones have a cooler pattern or a niftier handle or they're the brand that you like. Fringeport makes the best bumper plates. Period. That's the ones you should buy. So, in those instances, there's no reason to spend, it's because I'm a big, huge gym dork. There's just no reason to do that. But I do it all the time, right? And I did it with this gym. I'm like, well, should I buy this one? Should I buy this one? Should I buy this one? I've got 6 benches in this gym for exactly the reason I just told you that you shouldn't have 6 benches. Because I'm like, well, there's got to be one that's better than the rep. Let me try this. There's just not. So cut to the chase, buy the one that you know is the best, buy the one that everybody already says is the best, and just go that route. And you can spend your mental energy doing other stuff, really looking at stuff where there's really no best rack, for example. If you're just looking for a basic rack, lots of people make 3x3, 1-inch hole, 2-inch spacing racks. Pick one. Right? Like you're not gonna really make a difference one way or the other. But there's some things, just stop trying to find the cool unknown alternative. There isn't one. Just buy the best one and move on. So those are the things that I will be doing differently next time. Those are a few of the things that I regret not doing differently in this particular gym build out. Which ones do you guys relate with? Do you relate with the type of flooring, the approach to the barbells, whatever it happens to be? Let me know in the comments what you think. What are the things that you're gonna do differently next time you buy something for your gym? If you're looking at building a gym now, what questions do you have? I'm happy to answer all those questions for you. But that is all I have for this podcast this week. I appreciate your time, and thanks for tuning in. Like I said, leave a comment if you got one, like, subscribe, do all the algorithm stuff, and until the next time when you tune in for whatever you tune in for, I'm Tim with GymCrafter.